Oh, thank you, Melissa. That is phenomenal. Oh, hallelujah. I feel like I need to say amen. Amen. Woo! I am so excited today to talk a little bit. Some of you are familiar with Brené Brown and a book that she's written called The Gifts of Imperfection. And this idea that we all carry with us a sense of imperfection, a fear of not being enough, or a sense of scarcity in our life. Can you think of anything that you specifically feel that you are imperfect? Just one. And you don't have to shout it out. But it helps to think about something very specific in your life, about what you carry around with you that makes you feel different or truly not good enough in comparison to other people. And so I thought to kind of bare my soul that I would share one of my senses of scarcity. And trust me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I am an awful gift giver. Now, this might not sound like something too important, but if you're a really good gift giver, then you don't understand. When somebody gives you something fantastic, and I not only sometimes have a bad gift, I have no gift whatsoever. So I have gone through this holiday season with trepidation and turmoil, as I always do, because I am here to confess I hate shopping. And one wouldn't seem like, I don't feel like this now is an imperfection, but growing up as a young girl in Texas, to not love shopping was to like not loving the Cowboys. So in the book, Brené Brown talks about this sense of imperfection, this sense of something being wrong with us and how we deal with it. She talks about 3 different things that we often do. And one of the things we often do when we think we're not good enough is we hide the fact. So for me, I would pretend to like shopping. I would struggle and spend hours trying to find a good gift. But there was something inside of me that felt like I was doing it all wrong. I hated this whole process. I don't know what I'm doing. Everybody else understands it. What is the secret? I couldn't figure it out. The second thing we often do is we do try to placate and please. We want to feel like we fit in. Don't you want to feel like you're part of the group, like you're like everybody else? And growing up in Dallas, Texas, if you are a teenage girl, you love shopping. And I felt like a weirdo. So I pretended, and I tried, and I faked it. And I wasn't being true to myself. And I know this is just a little thing, but think about all the other ways in our lives that we want to fit in. And we pretend to be something that we are not. The third thing that people sometimes do when they feel this sense of vulnerability is they lash out. What's the big deal about shopping anyway? Oh, you think you're such a good shopper. Shopping's stupid. I'm a better person because I'm not a shopper. We often find these little ways of making ourselves feel better by making a them versus us mentality. That we draw a line, pretending that whatever it is we are really feeling uncomfortable with. And to the outer world, we pretend that everything's okay. And so when you think about that imperfection, for you yourself, we can think about how we might relate to this in a completely different way. And one of the things that Brené Brown talks about are 3 things from researching, interviewing thousands of people, and finding out what makes people truly happy. What makes people joyful? What makes people resilient in the face of struggles? And so she culled it down to 3 things. And she talks about courage, compassion, and connection. And so this idea of courage is one that is a little bit different maybe than you might think about. Courage is actually based in a sense of vulnerability. When you think about your own imperfections, imagine telling someone else that you feel imperfect in some way, that you point out that which you are uncomfortable with. That's like opening yourself up to criticism. And so this sense of courage that we would step out and admit to ourselves that these are the things about us that we feel vulnerable. And that's courageous. It is courageous to have that conversation with yourself. I would ask that you finish this sentence. If I were completely honest with myself, I would. Just reflect on that for a moment. If you were completely honest with yourself, what would you say? What would you do? And saying that or doing that is courageous. And so we come together as a spiritual community because we have an opportunity to encourage and support each other in being vulnerable, in assessing what's not working in our lives and what we might want to change. It was interesting because this last week, talking about shopping during the holiday season is really challenging for me, but I feel like I've come so far. One of my dearest friends was visiting from Jacksonville, Florida, and she came to have dinner with me on Thursday night. And we walked down the street to Classic Cup. Has anybody been on the plaza in the last few weeks? Shopping mayhem. And after Christmas, 40% off. So this particular girlfriend of mine, I love her dearly. I have known her for 20 years, and she is an excellent gift giver and a darn good shopper. And she is one of those people that can go and look and look and look at each individual item and compare and contrast and undecide and redecide. I love her. As we were walking down 47th Street, she noticed that there was a new store, an H&M. And she said, "Oh, I hear they've got great scarves on sale. We should go there after dinner." My heart sank. I had that moment of realization that I truly do hate shopping and that it's okay to not want to spend a couple of hours in H&M looking at scarves. But I can have this courage to look at my dear friend and say, "I love you. Please do not torture me." And I am so grateful to say that I lengthened the dinner out until after H&M was closed, just in case she changed her mind. And this was courageous for me. I spent a few decades hiding the fact, pretending, trying to get it right, looking at other people, and just giving up. Is it really that important? Don't we all have those little things that maybe we hide from others and we hide from ourselves? And the second thing that Brené Brown talks about is compassion. And most importantly, self-compassion. When you think about how long you might have been beating yourself up for whatever you consider to be your imperfections, there might be some compassion warranted. And just imagine in this moment, what does compassion feel like? When you forgive yourself for having screwed up, when you forgive yourself for whatever it is you've done in the past that hasn't worked, and you just say, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time, and in this moment, I'm moving forward. It is a powerful process to have compassion for yourself as you look closely at your vulnerabilities. And there's one thing I love. Many of you are familiar with Joseph Campbell, and he talks about the hero's journey. He says it's an archetype that is in every single one of us, that our life is the hero's journey. The story that we tell ourselves that we are the hero of the novel that we are writing. And the hero gets knocked down and struggles and has imperfections. But the hero understands their purpose, and so they carry on. And so Brené Brown's research shows that people who spend time thinking about what brings me joy and meaning, and then make that a priority, surprisingly, they find more joy and meaning in life. Some might say that we do have a culture of consumerism and comparison and competition. She talks about how exhaustion and being overbusy is the badge of honor that we wear. Having worked in the corporate world, there was a way that people sort of one-upped each other by talking about how little sleep they got. Really? That's your badge of honor? To not take care of yourself. You get 5 hours of sleep? What? You're being crazy? I can live on 3 hours of sleep. There was one person that swore to me that they only slept 2 hours a night. And they looked like it. So I wouldn't be so sure about that being a badge of honor. But in our culture, there is this sense of being busy and that productivity is what gives us purpose. And so we have an opportunity to re-examine what we think brings us joy and meaning, and to have compassion for ourselves that maybe we haven't focused so much on that in the past. And having compassion for all the other people in your life that you come in contact with that may have their own imperfections. Everybody probably spent some time with family over the holidays. A wonderful opportunity to come face to face with the imperfections of those that are closest to you. And so we can have this sense of compassion for them, because they may see it or they may not, or may they not even think of it as an imperfection. Heaven forbid. But the sense of compassion and looking for the good in others, even if they are different than us, is so powerful, because we most often find that which we are looking for. So we can have the courage to be vulnerable and to honestly assess what's working in our life and what's not. We can have compassion for ourselves and for the others that we come in contact with. And the last is connection. And Brene talks about that out of her research came this concept of spirituality that she really wasn't expecting to find as a researcher. You know, spirituality is that kind of touchy-feely, woo-woo kind of thing. But she found that consistently, when people were demonstrating an ability to be resilient in the face of overwhelming struggles, that they had a sense of spirituality in their life. And it wasn't about religion or theology or beliefs, but it was about the sense of connection. And I wanted to read exactly what she wrote about this, her definition of spirituality. It is recognizing and celebrating that we are inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Practicing this kind of spirituality brings a sense of perspective, meaning, and purpose to our lives. And so we can go beyond that specific religion or theology or belief system that we think we ought to have or should have. And we can think about spirituality as a connection to that which is greater than us. Some people call that God. But we can also consider the connection that we have to each other. Each of you got up this morning on a very cold day. And you came here, maybe you think you came for yourself. But by your mere presence here, you're encouraging and supporting the people around you. That we are here encouraging and supporting each other and creating a sense of connection. It's palpable. Can you feel it? You are part of it, and you are helping create it, and it is the most powerful force to be reckoned with. Breathe that in. You are giving and receiving love. By your mere presence. Some of you may feel weaker today, and some of you may feel stronger. But each of you are an important element to this spiritual community that we are creating in this moment. That's the power of connection. And so Brene encourages each of us to no longer look away or deny or be afraid of our sense of imperfection. In fact, once again, going back to this sense that we are not good enough, imagine the possibility that you are. That you are enough in this exact moment. And that instead of living from a sense of scarcity, which is another common cultural problem that we have, we can live from a sense of abundance. How awesome is that? You don't need to get anything more. You don't need to buy anything additional. In this very moment, you have everything you need within you to have a sense of abundance. How much there is in life, the possibilities that your life has. If you're like me and think about what it took for you to get here this morning, all the things in your life that had to happen, and all the things in your life that had to not happen, for you to be sitting here in this moment. Oh, happy day. Life doesn't have to be perfect. And what a relief is that. And so we can come together and we can take this time on Sunday morning and throughout the week and every morning when you wake up, imagine how life might feel and be experienced differently if you woke up every morning and you said to yourself, I am courageous. I'm willing to be vulnerable and open. And I am compassionate. I'm willing to sit with that uncertainty and that feeling of uncomfortableness that comes from stepping out into new territory. And I have a sense of connection, and that we would make having a connection a priority in our schedule for the day. These simple truths, courage, compassion, and connection, are enough to change our life. So let's take those thoughts into meditation. So as we take this precious time of meditation and sitting in the silence, it's helpful to begin by taking a few slow, full, deep breaths. Bringing that sense of presence into this room and into your body. Aware of the sensation of your feet against the floor. Giving yourself this most precious gift of time to just be. And so we can take this precious opportunity to reflect on for you. Where is that sense of scarcity? What is that sense of not good enough? Allow it to be seen. And to be blessed, and know that that is not the truth of who and what you are. We can reflect on finishing this sentence. If I were completely honest with myself, I would. And then as we go into the silence, using this precious time to cultivate and to experience a sense of courage, compassion, and connection. In the silence. And as we let go of the silence, we return to this sense of purpose. Take this opportunity to gather up all the love and encouragement and support that is surrounding you in this moment. And I encourage you to make a commitment to yourself to know the truth of who you are. That you have everything you need to cultivate, to experience, and to demonstrate courage, compassion, and the power of connection. And so it is.
Breathe through me. Breathe through me. O blessed Spirit, breathe through me. Live through me. Live through me. O blessed Spirit, live through me. Breathe through me. Breathe through me. O blessed Spirit, breathe.